Hi, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. I'm here at Exemplar Horticulture with Julia. We visited her before, and today we wanted to talk about lavender, big patches of lavender in behind us here, and why you should choose to grow one variety or another for your garden. Now, Exemplar is well known for growing ornamental grasses, but also perennials, of which lavender is one of their main ones, and they grow something like 24 different kinds of lavender, different species and varieties. So why so many?
Well, we grow 24 varieties, but you should really think of them in the three main varieties: English, Lavandin, and Spanish. We grow 24 varieties so people have options between fragrances, heights, and colors.
Okay, so that makes sense. So if we look at this one behind us here, this one says Munstead on the tag. Is that an English lavender variety?
Yes, it is. It's also the most commonly known lavender.
Okay, and so what are the advantages of the English varieties?
It has the bolder flavor, or bolder scents. It's the most used for cooking and gardening.
Okay, so this is like the one that people would know for perfumery and that kind of thing. Yeah. Widely grown in France in the lavender fields. Overall height somewhere between 2 and 3 feet.
Yes.
And what's its bloom period? Sort of midsummer?
Midsummer, July, end of June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting a handheld view at one of the English varieties here. I just wanted to show you the close-up of some of the flowers. And of course, this is forced in the greenhouse, so this is far too early in the season. But you can see they have dense little flower spikes, but abundant in that color that you would call lavender, somewhere between purple and blue. They're hardy to zone 5 and highly aromatic with that classic sweet lavender fragrance. Their overall height goes to, on an average, about 2 feet, and they bloom sort of earlier in the summer than some of the other varieties we'll look at in this video here. Commonly and well-known varieties might be things like Munstead and Hidcote, but also newer varieties like Annette or Super Blue, or the fabulous Sweet Romance that has come out from Ball this year. Okay, so we've talked about the growing qualities of the English lavender, but the next patch we have behind here is a variety called Provence, which is a Lavandin variety. So why would you choose to grow the Lavandin varieties instead?
Well, like the English varieties, the Lavandin varieties are like it, but a lot stronger. They're like an English variety turned up. They flower a little bit taller and a little bit later. So you could grow an English variety, have it flower first, and then your Lavandin variety flower second, so it's nice in a bed together.
Okay, and it does have a stronger, punchier
Very
fragrance.
stronger, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And now for a handheld view of one of the Lavandin varieties. This is that Provence variety that we were looking at. And you can already see that it has that sort of stretchier or taller or bolder habit that Julia was talking about. They generally have the same cold hardiness down to about zone 5, and they have slightly better heat tolerance than the English varieties, but still are not favored that way compared to, say, the Spanish or other varieties. Their fragrance is super strong, quick, camphorous, and they have sort of longer flower spikes than the English lavender, blooming a little bit later in the summer. Okay, so besides the English lavender and the Lavandin, we have a third group that you talked about, and that's the Spanish lavender here. So why would somebody grow the Spanish lavender instead?
Well, for the Spanish variety, it's more for the flowers, not so much the fragrance, and it is a little bit more heat tolerant, and it blooms early.
Given that a sniff there, and you're right, it really does not have the same fine or delicate fragrance as the English lavender varieties, but you mentioned it has big, bold flowers with those kind of big flags on the top, which is kind of a nice look for it. So that's why you would grow the Spanish lavender, and like you say, more tolerant to warmer climates.
Yeah.
And for the close-up view on this, one of the Spanish lavender varieties, this is called Silver Anouque, so you can see that silvery foliage on it. And just riffing off of what Julia was saying on the heat tolerance of this variety, there are a few varieties that you might consider that I'll add in here right now that are bred for slightly better heat tolerance than the English or Lavandin varieties. One of them is Lavandula X chaytorae, or Chater's lavender, which is a hybrid between the English lavenders and Lavandula lanata, so it has extra heat tolerance. Also the French lavender, sort of a fern leaf looking thing, and the Egyptian lavender, also very finely divided, and all three of those would give you better heat tolerance than the English or the Lavandin varieties in your garden, if that's what you're looking for. All right, well, thank you so much for taking this video with us and showing us the different kinds of lavenders you grow here. It looks to me like you have lots to move through this season, probably loading trucks as we speak. So I will leave you to it, but thank you again so much for being on the video.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely.